Here we go. Hey everybody, let me show you what I got going on here tonight. I'm going to try to do this full video on this unit. This is a Dell 5584 Inspiron. What's the problem with this unit? It's a mess. Right? The hinges, you can see that hinge is sticking out. That base cover is broken. That base cover is broken. The LCD bezel, I mean, it's not that bad, but this little plastic piece is broken. So it's a mess. But sometimes, even though it looks all messed up, if it's a good computer, if it's an i7 with 8th gen, that's not bad. And sometimes these parts are not too expensive, and it actually would make sense to repair this. So I did a video yesterday. This is a mess. About these hinges, and you've seen some others. So basically what happens here is over time this breaks off of the back. This is attached to little nuts that are kind of glued into there, and over time these get hard. Yeah, so save some of these screws. I mean, I've had some of these are missing already. I got 3, so we got 3 missing, but probably will have them around there. What a mess. So here we're going to change the back LCD. We're going to this hinge is broken, so we're going to change that. Might just change them both. Let's see. So we're going to get cranking here. This LCD, let's take this off. The bezel I had already taken off, but the bezel was kind of like almost off. So the bezel, you've seen 100 videos of taking that off. This LCD has got pull tabs. I'm going to take this off first since it's such a mess. I don't want to damage this LCD. That is one long pull tab. Well, this one is, since this hinge is broken, this is already, the whole hinge thing comes off. So you're familiar with this double-sided tape. It's a double-sided tape that when you pull it, it separates. If you try to, pry it, it's glued very well. So it's very interesting. This first saw it, I don't know if it got innovated by Apple, but this is first seen on the Apple batteries. You want to try, if you want to pry one of those batteries off, wow, what a mission. I mean, not good, especially a battery. Wind up having a problem, but if you pull it and it doesn't break, it's very smooth. Now, what does happen is lately I've seen some of the older iPhones, the pull tabs, I try to pull them and they just break. Here, I'm going to disconnect this without disconnecting the battery, just because I'm pulling it, taking it off, which is not a big deal. But yeah, we're going to open the back. disconnect the battery and get cranking. Now I did one yesterday and I showed you the one that I did yesterday. The back cover had no cables or nothing on it. This one is going to be different. As you can see, we got the camera back there and the Wi-Fi cables. So this one will be a little more complicated than the other. So you want to take a good look at the cables where they go through. So you put them right back in the same spot. On the new one, which I have here. So I'm going to first eyeball it and make sure. Yeah, pretty straight up. But you would be surprised. Sometimes you might, in this case maybe not, but sometimes you'll have a one of these cables or a flex that goes, through a real particular spot, and if you don't follow that, later on you're trying to close it up, trying to put the bezel back, and that cable is not going to let you do it. So what I like to do is just take a couple of pictures. Well, for example, this side here, it's out of place, so we really don't know. But take a couple pictures there. Right, so that one's going right through the seam. Going all the way underneath that bracket. The worst thing that could happen is if you take a couple of pictures and then you just don't need them. No problema. Alright, so this is just glued on, double-sided tape. We got the antenna and camera. So for that antenna, you could try a spudger. I wouldn't use a blade. You might wind up cutting it. You can get yourself some alcohol. Yeah, these hinges are pretty hard. And maybe I get something else a little sharper, but This is the camera. And the camera is going to have double-sided tape on double-sided tape. That's all that's going to be glued there. So just try to get behind it. With the alcohol, what you want to do if you're working with any electronics is get yourself 99% proof alcohol, so it's not conductive, and it just makes everything easier. Got that. Let me use a little more alcohol here on these since this is just plastic back there. Let's let the alcohol do the job. These are pretty thick, so you could yank on them a little bit, not too much. Cut that one off. I don't know how well the recording is going, because I basically, if you see, most of my other recordings, it's just kind of like letting you know what's going on here, and then I do get a lot of comments. I don't show the work because I'm really kind of like just vlogging, letting you know what's going on. So here I'm doing this video. I'm just going to record the whole thing as best possible, but if I go back and forth with the camera and all, then I would never do it. So this is better than not doing it. and also probably not going to be editing, so like those times I kind of walk off to go get something, you're just going to have to forward it, because again, if I got to redo, edit, make sure all the angles are right, then I'm just not going to get the video down. I mean, I got 2-3 jobs a day. If I just record one of them, that's plenty of material to upload. But if I commit to editing, then we're not going to get much done. Okay, so we got those two separated. Should I do the hinges first or should I do the hinges second? I don't know. Let's take a look at this and compare it to the new one. You want to take a look and see if there's any magnets or anything. And no magnets. I think the bezel, not even the bezel. That's weird. Yeah, the bezel, because the new one has a magnet on it. The new bezel, so this should have a magnet. There it is. You got one magnet there, so when you put the new parts, make sure that if the old part had a magnet and it's not on the new part, that you transfer it over. If not, you're not going to get the sleep wake function down right. And that is a little monkey wrench. So if you notice, one of the screws was stuck on that magnet. Alright, so we got 4 screws now. Good. We're only missing 2. I should have some around. Let's do, yeah, we might as well do the hinges. You can feel that, how hard that is. Let's see. Normally on these hinges they have a screw on the end. Almost all of them do. They have a screw on the end, so if you do any repairs like this, you want to try to loosen them up if they're too firm. Oh boy, I don't like these screws spinning in place. I don't like that, because that could mean that the nut on the palm rest is messed up, and if that's the case, yikes. Or they could have a little washer on the other side, and that's why they're staying there. Many times, once a computer gets in this situation, a lot of these are going to be broken here. And I hope that's not the case, because here we're changing so many parts already. If That's broken too. And there's a screw missing there. Yeah, you got a lot of tabs here that are breaking. You know, as these computers get older, they get all this plastic gets more fragile. So just basically take it easy as much as possible and try to get it to find, you know, a little weak spot, and it's don't try to just power everything apart, because you'll have more broken tabs and you'll do more damage. But it feels like it should be already pretty separated. Alright, that whole side is pretty loose. You know, on these sides you have the USBs, HDMI's there, so you gotta pry past that. Yeah. So we do have some damage on some of these screws, like the base right here just came completely off. Not a big one. And luckily, luckily these hinges got a lot of screws. They got four screws each. So luckily that's keeping everything in place. Probably these. No, these might actually still be, might be intact. Good. I mean, that's good news. Got an M2. There's another. See, that's what happens with these. That's the nut, but the whole base just fell off. That's probably one of the side ones. That's the base over here. So what we'll do with that though is we'll give it a little super glue and be fine. Just take this battery off. Or just disconnect it. This thing's pretty dirty. We'll clean that later. So I'm gonna get a feel for this versus the new one. Yeah, you can feel that's pretty hard. We got the new hinges. This came all in a set, all three. I guess obviously they break a lot, so it came with back cover, hinge, and bezel. This thing is pretty hard too. Shee. Ah. So I'm probably gonna loosen these. I'm gonna loosen these a little bit. Yeah, not a lot, but a little bit. And when we talk about loosening, you get this little nut here. We're talking very little. A 1/16 of a turn. You'll notice that just that little tiny bit. I mean, that was not even a, yeah. Let's say if you do a quarter, that would be, if you did a quarter, half of a quarter, 7.5, because it's a quarter of a quarter. Much better. You got to be careful not to loosen them too much, then the lid doesn't stay up. So loosen them a little bit, and we'll see what happens with that. Let's get the hinges up on the. Should we go this way or should we go? I'm gonna go with, and usually you could just put it together without disconnecting these. Should we go for it or should we go, I don't know. Let's just go for building this. See if we can do it. With the hinges. Actually, the hinges are going to have to go afterwards. Yeah, let's try it. Are these hinges going to go underneath? I believe it is. Might have to take these cables off anyways. So that's the black one. And I think we got to put the, yeah, see, I already forgot already because, there we go. That's the white one, and that goes underneath, correct. So here there's a, bunch of little channels. I'm gonna guess it because off the top of my head I don't remember. I just did it, but it should go through there. Some of them are self-explanatory, but either way, I got my little reference picture. That should. And this was the one that would spin around the top. Yep. I'm gonna press these down yet, but this one goes this way. Now the base has two little holes. That's gonna tell you where the camera pops in. There and there. It's got a little glue still on the back, so that's fine. And then here it flips over. It starts. Does it go around the little? No, it just goes right up and over. Does it go through? Yeah, it goes through the same channel here, but does it go over or under? Under. So it goes under that tab, back in there, over that tab, under this tab, and it goes under. Actually, no, it goes over the. Sometimes it goes under the foil, but in this case, no. It went up across it. Back there, back over there. Here, this little tape kind of held it in place, and there it went over the top. Here, all the way around and go down across the bottom. So we're fine here with this. And let's take a quick peek. Went over. These got to go exactly there, side by side, otherwise they're not going to fit. But since they have a little tape on them, kind of keeping them pretty organized. Now this bottom part, since this was already all loose, it's hard to tell exactly how that was running. But I'm guessing that there's only one way. It's got to run up. There's really no channel here. That's interesting. Now this side's running way down here. But this one, I guess, probably running behind there. We'll see. Let's put the hinge on and see what what happens. And then I'm presuming this is going to run underneath. Underneath there. So that looks like the right track. Not bad. Yep, that looks good. All right. Need an extra hand here. No magnet, or very little magnetism. Just put one there. If you go online to buy these parts, make sure you have these screws. If you don't, you could probably get them online as well on eBay. I have a little bag with some of them, but if you're just doing a one-off job, you're not going to have them. Here I'm just keeping this in place. So they're not fully tightened, just that's in place. Let's see if we can get this other hinge in. Actually, let's get these two screws separated. So these are the screws that were on here, but the back piece, plastic is broken. So we got to separate that. All right. So we can slide this baby in here. Okay. So all that looks good. We're going to test the hinge pressure to see if it's good as is, or is it too soft, is it too hard, or is it just right? Ooh, too hard. We want to do that with the LCD, even though this LCD does not weigh too much. Where did I put the LCD for this? Where did I put you? Just present it on there, just for the weight aspect of it. But yeah, I'm going to loosen this up more. It's still very firm, which over time is going to make it break again. So hopefully, I have this little set of little wrenches, because sometimes when you have it together, these wrenches sometimes will allow you to make an adjustment right there. If not, you got to take it off, adjustment, put it back. Not a big deal, but sometimes with this little guy, too big. We'll let you do it. I don't think it's gonna, just because of the design. We can access it, but the design of the hinge is not gonna let us. No. The design of the hinge is not gonna let us adjust it like that. Let me try a long nose plier. If not, we're gonna have to take it off. Yeah, the reason there's like an edge right there that hits right next to the screw, and that's what not letting us. No. Alright, so I'll take it off. So yeah, that's important. So this, this hinge came like that already, but it's so firm, it'll work, but sooner or later it'll be back to the same problem that they're having right now. So let's see if we can. the design where that screw is, you just can't get to it. Gonna have to take the hinge completely off again. Because you got that metal piece, and then the LCD back cover also has a plastic covering the bottom, so you just can't get at it. So sometimes it takes a couple tries, loosen it up, then the next thing you know, it's too loose. Tighten it up again. Still a lot of pressure. I'm going to go with it like that. If we go too loose, it'll fall over. So with the two turns, the two loosenings probably did like a quarter turn, I think. So we're at about 1 hour. As you can see, I mean, I don't try to rush these little jobs like this. You know, calculate. I mean, I calculate 2 hours because I don't want to rush. Get some magnetism on that screw. If you do it in less, great, but I think if you try to rush, you wind up getting frustrated. You want to cut corners, and then things happen that you don't want to happen. Yeah, I wish these screws had some magnetism to them. Sheesh. They got no magnet. What's going on with these screws? They have no magnetism at all. Usually once you hit them a couple of times with the magnet, they get a little something. Let's see how she feels. Yeah, much better. So it's firm, but you don't feel this, you know, big stress on the hinges. Yeah. So that feels pretty good. I think we're good to go with that. So I need to find 2 screws for there. So the screws that hold these in place, if you can see, they have a really big head, and the head is really flat. So you're not just going to have a screw lying around that you're going to be able to use there. So I kind of collected some once this happened a couple times. Whenever I have a computer that we're going to trash, and start collecting these screws. They're not all the same, but the difference between one of the, I mean, there's not massive differences. So so long as you got a big enough head, and then that the thread is the same. And this one, the head is a little smaller, but it's a good same size thread, so we're fine. Also, there's, you know, the thread part is short. You got to make sure it's not too long and it goes across across the screen, across the LCD back. Luckily, you know, this assembly is good. At least you have 3 solid screws, 4 on the hinge down here. Sometimes you'd be surprised, you see 2 little screws here, 2 down there. It's terrible. It's I don't know if it's good. It's called planned obsolescence, or basically constructed in a way where right after the warranty ends, you know, the thing kicks the bucket. I'm going to retighten these. I'm going to blow this out, clean this fan, which is pretty dirty. That was the blower to blow this out, and then this one is so dirty that it needs a little brushing too. So here, I'm going to leave the back cover for last, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these that base and this base I'm going to glue that and leave that overnight. So let's just do the, let's just finish the front, and then we'll make it a wrap so it's not a 2-hour video. I'm going to put a piece of tape on there because that tape, once it separates the first time, it just doesn't glue right. So we'll just put a little piece of extra electrical tape on it for a little more support. There's very little movement back here, but I have had computers come in that have lost video, and this thing has moved out of position. Got that little clip there. Make sure that little clip goes down all the way. It's in all the way. I'm going to test it, and then we'll put the double-sided tape on it. That's fine. The other thing also, which I didn't look at, but when you do peel this, you want to try to get an idea of see how centered this is. Like this one here, there's what is that? Not a quarter, but I mean almost maybe a 3/8 gap up and down. So you want to know, should it be pushed all the way up, all the way down? The only way you're going to know that is with the bezel, because otherwise you're going to have too much black around the edges. So we will turn it on. We'll place this here and then kind of adjust and see if it's going to go up or down so that it looks good when it's done. Let's see. Do I got a charger for this computer? I do. Then here also, you want to double check the camera. This socket here, I don't like too much. since, you know, we moved it around, I mean, we didn't really disconnect it, so it should be okay, but it's a good opportunity to check all these things. I mean, the Wi-Fi, chance of that are breaking, but the camera, you do want to verify it for sure. That screen is pretty dirty. Yeah. This outlet here, I think that outlet's a little funky. Or this jack is funky. Let's see. So I'm getting the power light just coming on and turning off. And we did get the initial post of the logo, but I put the power in and it gives me a light and then goes off. Try another charger. This charger just one doesn't feel right either. It's a little short, but interesting. And there's no connections that are wrong. This port looks fine. The battery's not connected. Maybe I'll try the battery connect, because this thing did come in and I did test it and it was fine. But now we're not getting a power up. Let's see what happens with the battery. Not sure if the battery had juice, but probably would have. So it did power up. We're gonna check and see what's going on with these chargers and the power. So it did power up. A little strange is the power light turned on and then it just turned back off. So that's gonna be another issue. Yeah. So here, what I'm gonna do. We got that up. Let's check the camera real quick. It's actually connected. And yeah, I'm getting nothing. Weird. I do got the orange light, but it's not showing as charging. So we can just check the camera real quick. And no, the camera, what the heck? Camera's frozen. Let's try it again. We might have to check that camera cable. Light on the camera is fine. So we're gonna have to check that little cable and see if that's fine. But in the meantime, we need to see why this is not charging. Let's go back to his charger. Before we go dead. Okay, so his charger now is charging. And his charger, you know, it's all bent up here in this area. And a lot of times when you see that, maybe it has a bad connection and they have to wiggle it to work. So right there is charging. I'm not going to move it too much, but I am concerned now with this camera. And I'm pretty sure I tested the camera. Did I do my homework right? I did not. So, before you work on a computer, test everything so you don't wind up getting stuck with any problems that the computer has. So, you know, if you check the camera and it's not working, then you're off the hook. If you don't check the camera, then the customer's always going to tell you that the camera was working perfectly. Just going to give it a restart. With the camera, there's very little, you know, the connector right here, I'll probably disconnect and reconnect it, but I didn't, you know, we took it off completely, but maybe it did move around a little bit. So you're going to check that. And as far as down here, it connects through the same LCD connector. So I would just check that top connection. Disconnect, reconnect. Which I'm going to leave for afterwards. So the next step here, let's presume that that's fine. And I will continue the video, but as far as the job of the replacing this, you do want to present this in its position. So we can get an idea. And this thing has hooks on the bottom, hooks on the top. Sheesh. All right, so that's where it's going to go. So you can see when you do that, you're going to have, I mean, the left and the right actually is very little movement, so you don't have to worry about it. But top and bottom, there's a lot of movement. So based on what I see here, we can push it all the way to the top. I still got a black edge up there and right here. So, yeah. So it's going to go flush to the top. We're going to let the restart. We're going to go double-sided tape, push it to the top, and then basically that's a wrap, even though I'm not going to, it's not going to be a wrap in this case yet because of the camera, but as far as the job, that is it. And then the back cover, which is just pop it back on. Double-sided pull tape. It's going to go across the back, and you need to leave some left over here, like the one that we saw, so that it could be pulled if it needs to be changed again, or if you stick it on and you know, stuck it on wrong, you want to have that option. So leave some extra down there. And probably let it restart before you do this. I'm just kind of doing this to try to get this video done. But working on the computer while it's on is probably not highly recommended. And I don't like the way that one's going. Wow, that's a long restart. So I'm going to continue rolling, but pretty much, I mean, I'm not going to unstick that because I am going to work on that camera back there. So you would unstick that, push it towards the top, clamp it down. This is going to snap in place. This one's nice. It even has a double-sided adhesive. It's got the magnet. I'm going to close that there, snap that in place. Make sure your camera lens is clean. And then you're going to have your back cover. And that would be a wrap. So in the meantime, we're going to let this finish and test that camera. I mean, this didn't even move from there. And we didn't stress out any of these cables either. Sometimes, you know, you don't get them in right, or you have to pinch them to get in through a corner or something, and they could get a little damaged. But, I mean, we didn't have anything like that going on. I'm just going to be picking up a little bit. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Oh, what's going on here? Gave it a force restart. It's still restarting. Obviously, it didn't force restart. Get out of here. Let's try it again. I did that forced restart because it was, you know, it wasn't doing updates. If it was doing updates, I was just going to leave it and just go do something else, come back to it. But it looks like something was holding it up. Yeah, so the camera's not up. What we're going to do first is check the drivers. So here we're getting into another area. So they came up now. So who knows, it was updating something maybe. Alright, so the camera's up. So normally what I do there is I just take a little quick video. Test, 1, 2, test, 1, 2, 3. Because you got the camera and you got mics on here. Other computers you might have the mic somewhere else. Whoops. Still recording. But here you got the mics right up top. Test, 1, 2, test, 1, 2, 3. Guys, you got. Alright, so we're good there. Let's open it up again. And open up right away. So maybe it was just a little glitch, updates going on, who knows. Alright, so we're good with that. Take a look at your Wi-Fi. I mean, the chances of Wi-Fi having a problem are very slim. But you can look at your Wi-Fi, and then there, what you would do is take a look at how many signals you see compared to what you should be seeing. Like here, I already know, I know that I should be seeing like 10 or 12. This Gaia, there's Cartridge World. I see here they're at the end of the shopping center. So we're good. The last one in the shopping center is the insurance. So super insurance at the end, that's even showing up. It's, I don't know how many yards away, but it's far. So then that's fine too. Those are the main things that we've worked on there. So I'm going to shut it down. It's cranking away the fan. I mean, this is an i7. I'm going to put a tape on the fan here just to kind of seal that little gap between the heatsink and the fan. Oh no, don't tell me. Don't tell me. So this computer looks like it needs some maintenance. So almost always you see some type of seal there, tape or something. And there it's completely separated, so I'm going to put a little strip of tape across, especially since this is, completely detached. The fan shut down, so hopefully it either shut down or went to sleep. so that way we don't got any gaps there, and gives it a straight flow further apart. And when the back cover comes on, it's probably going to press on there a little bit. Let's disconnect that. Yeah, so this computer has some type of something's holding it down from shutting down. I'm going to force shut it down, which is not the best thing in the world to do, but to try to get this video wrapped up, that's what we're going to do. So we said we're going to align it to the top. So in order to do that, make sure you align it, hit the top first, and then press down. Check your side to side. The side to side is pretty tight, so we don't got to worry about that. So align it to the top. And don't let it go, because it'll slide back down. Alright, so that's what she wrote. That screen is dirty. We got our bezel. We got double-sided tape on the bezel. We're going to peel that. It already has our magnet. Take a look at our bench. Are we missing anything? We got some screws. Those are your back cover screws. So we are good. Sometimes these bezels, you have to, well, hopefully this is not one of them. Some of these bezels, to get them in, you want to put it in before attaching everything, but this one is fine. So, and if you don't have all those cables all in the right places, you'll find a spot where it just doesn't clip or it doesn't close properly. So you want to feel all that all the way across, and everything is good there. And then the only thing left is the bottom. So that's pretty good. You know, in this case, luckily both of those were brand new, so all the clips are in place. And then you got the last clips down here. Then you want to take a look back here and make sure that this also clipped into place. So a lot of times you don't look at that because you can only see it from the back. So by the looks of it, we put our cables correctly because everything clipped into place. There's like a little white speck. Or glue or whatever. Yeah, that'll just be a little cleaning up. And we are good to go. So we're going to wrap it up there. The only things I'm going to do here, and I probably will record that separately tomorrow, is this little foot here. I'm going to super glue that. Just make a separate video for that. I'm going to super glue that. This little base here, I'm going to super glue that one. This one's probably not as important. But either way, if you don't do it, then you got a... actually, that's right. That was missing, or it was missing a back cover screw. So was it that one? Yeah, no, actually it's another one. Because it came up, it's still over here on the base. The screw's on the base. So yeah, we'll glue that one. That way all the screws are in and we're good to go. And that's what's going on tonight at PC 911. How long was this video? An hour and 44 minutes. Sorry about that, but you got fast forward when you need it. That's what's going on right here, right now at PC 911.